Good evening, everyone. Forex Fargo checking in. This Zoom is just pretty much, like I was just saying, a testament on how far we've grown, or I personally have grown throughout the year. We're going to take a look at some old analysis and just see how, like I said, like I've grown and, the way I do my analysis now. So prior, just start off with this one in January 2000, January 21. As you can see, I was using trend lines and I was also using Fibonacci and using support and resistance, right? I have my resistance down at the bottom right here on this weekly support level. I have it marked wrong because I was an idiot and was still understanding and learning the concepts, right? But this is important that I bring this up because you see how price right now, if we look at our charts over to the left-hand side, the right-hand side, you see how price right here is at 108.16. Price has been there early in this year. Right, so I'm not doing this for no reason. I'm actually trying to give you guys hints, but without telling you too much. So anyways, we can see that in December, price on UJ was all the way up here, blah, 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 blah. We had this nice flash crash. If anyone was trading around that time, we had a flash crash from literally from like, it was like a 500 pip drop in like fucking, 30 seconds to a minute or something like that. I was still trading vehicles at the time. Was able to bag around like $150. And then from there, price had created its lowest and then, been running up. Now, this is on I don't know what time frame this is on, but once again, this is the entire year. So from January all the way up till right now. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Apologies. That's from January. And then if we can see, not able to do that. So 1 second. It doesn't even matter. We're just talking about the analysis and shit. On this one over here, a potential ACAD, you can see I have my weekly resistance and weekly support levels, right? So I was just trying to trade support and resistance and see, how that worked for me. Another thing that I was, worked on as well. Remember when I don't know if those have been following me for a long time, but before I dropped that supply and demand video in the Telegram, I actually was looking at the at implementing it and using it to practice in real time. So this was actually a USD Canadian chart that if we actually look on it, price once again, this is why I said you look from the higher time frames. Price was at what? Over here was at 132, right? We know price rejected off of this weekly resistance, and now we know that right now, like price is at 131.380 right now. Showing you all of this because these are analysis that happened in the first quarter of the year. So it's not by coincidence that price is returning to its yearly cycle, so on and so forth, whatever the fuck it's really called. Once again, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I just know what works for me. Now, this right here was the bread and butter, and from this analysis, I started doing most of my analysis like this, and I really mean this, okay? Now, I want everyone to look at the top where it says, after last week's, this area right here, March 23rd, 2019. And I've always written my analysis like this so I can go back and reflect. Now, after last week's minor bull run at the start of the week, we can see price had moved from, 7,500 to 71,500 after a slight break past weekly resistance level, ended up touching the 71,700 area. Immediately after, we see price plummet back to our weekly structure level of 7750. Now, all of this is important because you need to understand how the market is moving, right? Without me even, I'm not able to click this play button, but if you can see at the bottom, you have this ascending trend line, right? So this ascending trend line from March all the way up until April. I know that this ascending trend line had gotten broken because this descending trend line was a lot more valid. So look right here, this isn't a rejection, you just have price coming down. You have one rejection, you have two rejection right here. Then you had your potential third rejection, which was right here. We don't need to look at a chart. We know that price is all the way in, like, it's under 70 right now, under 70 cents. So when I went back a few months ago and started, looking at my own stuff and realizing what was most effective for me, the things that were most effective for me, believe it or not, because there's no Fibonacci, there's no nothing. There was a Fibonacci that I had used on here for the confluences, but I didn't leave it on the chart. What works for me is supply and demand areas.
Look, you open the window. Stack it through the papel.
Shut up.
No, chill. Shout out your child, dog, or your little brother, sister, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love babies, I just ain't got them yet. Now, as you can see, from the bottom, when we were looking for this buy position, right here, we were anticipating a bounce off of this ascending trend line and riding it all the way up until our descending trend line for the bounce, which would have been really, like, we caught this move all the way in March, we still would have been sitting pretty in pips. Now, once again, this is March. Let's go to a pair. Let's go to. I had stopped trading, not trading, but I stopped posting ideas and shit like that, right? Then I came back with this GJ weekly analysis. Now look at this. This one pissed me off the most. So moving into 2020, side note, you do need to know a little bit about fundamentals and just, you know, world economics, because had I held this position, as you can see, I was anticipating, you know, a buy, but I did have a sell. I did have a sell limit open, right? So from this sell entry limit, whatever the fucking case may be, you know, even if I'm able to press the play button, we can see that price. You see that drop? Can y'all see that? So like, if we would have held our position from May all the way up until now, I don't know how many pips that is, but oh, that's June. Hold on, let's go down. It dropped a little bit further, 133. We know it's back on the rise right now, right? So now price is all the way up here, so on and so forth. And look, by no coincidence, right? Holy shit. Let's just zoom out for a second. You see all these old monthly resistance, weekly resistance. You don't need all of that shit. That's fucking confusing. And it's not that it's too confusing. You just don't need all of that stuff on the charts. Like, if you have been trading long enough, you should be able to open up. You should be able to look at certain wicks and, you know, say, hey, this is a daily level. That's a weekly level. You know, monthly levels are a little bit harder to identify if you don't have them marked off. But weekly and daily levels, you definitely should. One thing I want you all to just note and write down, price oftentimes likes to, before continuing this direction, you'll often get stop hunted at a previous daily low or a previous daily high. So if the trend is going up, you're going to get wicked down to a previous daily low level before continuing up. On the contrary, if you are looking on a sell side, it's going to go to a previous daily high before coming down. Now, while I'm on that, I want to give you an example of that on GA, because I was looking for a buy signal last week, but the signal never got sent because, once again, it didn't make sense. It was invalid. So I'll show you all what I was looking at. Let me just, don't mind how sloppy this is, so on and so forth. But on this 4 hour, right? So on this 4 hour, where are we at? So November 31st or something like that, right? On Halloween, I was looking and I was saying, you know, we're going to look for a buy signal. We're going to look for a buy signal, right? I didn't change my bias at all. I was just, you know, looking for buys. Now, what I failed to realize, if I look at it once again from, let's look at it from a daily, right? Actually, let's look at it from a monthly. From a monthly, we were bullish. From a weekly, right, we can see that we had rejection from the top side on this previous weekly candle, but the monthly candle still closed bullish overall, which is why I was looking for a bullish continuation, right? As we can see down at the bottom, we had this nice bullish candle from zone to zone. I was like, okay, perfect. You know, price may wick all the way back down here before continuing up. That's not necessarily what happened. So on the 4 hour time frame, you know, I entered on this break and a retest, right? I ended up getting stopped out at break even. But you can see price was, you know, doing this thing on these all 4 hours. If we go down to a 1 hour, you're able to see a little bit more. So you can see that you had multiple rejections from the top, even on this 4 hour time frame, right? Look at this. You had rejections at this level. You had rejections at this level. Now, I played myself because I was looking for a close or 4 hour close above this, right? So this 4 hour close, it just was the wick fill. However, it didn't close above. I should have waited for it to close above these previous candle highs, right? So if this candle right here, this one that I just circled, if it closed above, and if this isn't making sense, you can, like, there's not that many people in here, and I will be putting this on YouTube probably, you know, so people could catch up. But just identifying, once again, you know, on a 4 hour time frame, I saw that there was this little spinning bottom. So I was like, perfect. You know what I'm saying? Buys. I was in buys from here, caught some buys or whatever like that, but I didn't send the signal because like that was me being, what's it called? It was me being a little bit aggressive and shit like that, right? Now, excuse me. Once we got to the top, like I was just trying to explain to everyone, if you notice right here where my mouse and cursor is hovering, you see all of these rejections. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You had 9 rejections. No candle closed above 87,950. All right. Can everyone see that? Yeah, I'll draw a line. So, because no one's saying anything. So, like, I want to make sure that if you're not, if it's hard to pay attention or if it's not making sense, by all means, you know. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, if it's not making sense, by all means, just say something. So, appreciate that, right? So once again, what my detriment, what I did not notice is that I didn't notice that price didn't break above and close above this 187,950 area. All right. So since October 28th, and I want everyone to look at this, how many rejections we had? Let's count them together, right? We had 1 rejection, we had 2, we had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You had 10 rejections, and my dumbass, and I'm saying this with a smile because learn from my mistakes, and it wasn't a mistake because we didn't take the trade, but we missed out on a trade for me being stubborn and not changing my bias, right? Had we entered that, that would have been a great thing. Now going back to, like I said, about price going before continuing this trend, right? So let's look at this from a daily level real quick so we all can understand. Bong, all right? So look at this. Everyone sees how this was a daily high. I don't know if my replay button is gonna work. Hold on. All right, perfect. This is beautiful, beautiful. Now we're gonna drop this to a 4-hour real quick. All right. Oh fuck, didn't work. Whatever. So let's go back real quick. So I want you all to understand this, and this happens more times than not. All right. So everyone sees how this red level right here is marked off, correct? Bong. All right, correct. All right, so I had just said something before we got into this and dove into this. I said that price oftentimes likes to go to the previous high of day or the previous low of day before continuing its trend, right? So when I press this play button, you'll notice that the daily candle, it wicked off to the bottom down here, all right? So yeah, you know, October, the last day of the month was a buy signal, but it didn't matter. It was just respecting the trend, right? So it rejected off of this level down here, as you can see. Rejected and bounced off of this 86, you know, whatever you want to call it, 86, 500 area. Now on a daily, you're not going to be able to see that, but when I press the button, bung, right? So you had this wick down from 86, 800, 86, 500, all the way up to 88, 1.8800, right? Now, when I press the play button again, you can see that even on this next daily candle, price was hovering above the previous daily high before continuing its trend down. And we'll be able to see that when we go down to a 4-hour time frame. All right. So price was up here. This is what happened on October 30th, right? Price closed all the way down here, right? The beginning of, you know, whatever you want to call it, October 31st, we had this, like I said, on a 4-hour time frame. This is a spinning bottom. It's identified at the end of just signifies exhaustion, and it's the I can't remember right now off the top of my head, so apologies for that. I'm not even going to say something that I'm not 100% certain of. But once again, all the rejections we had this nice zone-to-zone trading, which is why I say that I like to trade from zone to zone. It just makes things a lot easier, right? Another place for us to have entered this trade, all right? Let's see if we didn't catch all these rejections to the upside, One other thing that we could have identified, this hammer right here, this little inverted hammer, whatever you want to call it. This right here would have been a good indication. Now, on a 4-hour time frame, it's green. On a 2-hour time frame, it's green, but it just shows you that, you know, rejection, another rejection, another rejection. But this, once again, gives you premium entries. Now, this happened between, look, and I know that this happened 5 o'clock, between 5 and 7. So between 5 and 7 a.m., price was doing this thing. The moment 9 o'clock, but the moment New York session opened, that's when price started, you know, doing this drop, doing this drop, doing this drop. I don't need to bust down to a 1-hour time frame. I know this because these are the sessions that I trade. Another tool that I did learn, and I learned this off of someone, right? So these are my favorite indicators. Some of them I use, some of them I don't. But this sessions on charts thing is something that I did learn. Pretty much here, and actually this makes sense. So remember I was telling you 3 a.m. all the way up to 7 p.m. You see how it was highlighted green? This is the London session. This is when it kind of dies down, all right? So this is when London starts to cross over with New York session, and then this is the end of New York session. Does everyone see that? Right? So there are certain things that you can use to trade, but you don't necessarily need them. Same thing right here, right? So the beginning of the London session, what happened at 3 a.m., price fucking went on this major bull run. You know, right when New York session crossover, it started dying down. Asian session right here, you had this consolidation shit, you know, London, crossover, and then New York, right? So trading can be very easy, bro. Literally, trading can be easy. If I leave it like this, you guys really are able to identify when moves really happen, and you'll understand why I prefer and why most traders prefer to trade London sessions. Now, just because you see all of this green, blue, all of that shit, you have to understand what it means and understand that not every day is a trading day, right? I traded 2 days this week and I bagged like 350 pips. I was okay with that. You know what I'm saying? I did not like the way any of these setups were. Let's delete this. Let's delete this sessions thing, right? How do we get rid of that? Delete that. Bong. All right, we'll get rid of that. Hold on. There's a question in this chat real quick. It could potentially, yes, it could potentially. You know, we'll get into that. Like, I'll leave that for something else. I'm not going over analysis really. I'm just showing people, you know, what to look for, what to identify, so on and so forth. Trust me, you'll get that. You yourself will get that from me personally, right? Now, one thing that I want to be made aware of, right? I am a little, so right now, I don't know what's going on with Brexit. You know, a lot of people are saying that it's gonna fucking, you know, do its thing and like roll down, blah, blah, blah. We can get another bounce off of this zone, right? So like whether or not, you know, since you did ask the question, excuse me, I like doing these clips because these are areas I like to trade out of, FYI. So whether it's in here, that's when I'm looking for a trade. All right. So on a daily time frame, we see it's heading down. On a weekly time frame, let's see how the weekly candle closed. So the weekly candle closed down here. I will anticipate another bounce off of here, probably before shooting back up, because price, you know, not even price, just how the institutions trade, right? So institutions like trading from zone to zone, and they like trading the big moves. On a monthly candle, you can see that since we just started, you know, the beginning of this month, just be wary, right? Price could just fucking fall down, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, price could fall down to a few levels. Once again, we always look left. We look left because we're able to identify that, you know, a potential zone could be right here, right? So we know that we have this zone right here, right? But let's see the pips between zones. So it's 176 pips between those first two zones up here. It's 148 pips, 182 pips, you know, 219. Everyone does their zones differently. I'm okay with how my zones are. The reason why this zone, if we're looking to the left over here, this zone had actually, this was pretty much yearly highs, right? So we have 1, 2, 3. What I actually feel like may happen, believe it or not, on a higher time frame, now that we're looking at this, let me just delete this. I'm hoping that we don't get a huge drop, because we could get another wick up here. So look, so this could happen in a few ways. This is why, you know, I'm not trading right now, because I don't like this. There's no clear direction for me. It's too much consolidation, and accumulation in the market. There's not enough distribution going on, so I'm not able to catch a certain specific, right? So once again, this could look like a left shoulder ahead and a potential right shoulder before it fucking, you know, drops all the way. Now, also on the daily time frame, I also see the same thing. I see not the daily, on the 4-hour time frame, I see a potential, you know, head and shoulders on GA. So this could be left shoulder, head, you know, right shoulder formation, probably at the top of this over here. But once again, that's being very advantageous and, you know, trying to chase a trade, let the trade come to you. If fucking price comes all the way back down here, I'm okay with that, because that's going to look like another rejection and maybe another, you know, bounce to the upside. If we are looking at, let's look at the calendar real quick, right? Then I'm going to mark up a whole chart for you guys fresh. Let's do the filter. Only things that matter are these. And we're going to do this week, right? Oh, okay. Hold on. My fault. Okay. So Sunday, we got retail sales coming out. AUD, that's first thing. That usually never happens. You know, you can see it's been bad. It's pretty much been bad all year. Out of the, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like 50-50. I don't know about that. Things that are important though, this shit right here, this coming out on Thursday, which is why I didn't trade myself until Wednesday or Thursday. Also, this right here is probably gonna be negative. What's up, babe? I'm on this thing real quick. So, anyways, this is probably gonna be negative on this negative. I am called PMI. You okay? Yeah. I was on you sleep. Anyways, so moving on, where I was at. All right, cool. So we have a lot of news coming out next week. I will be looking to trade this right here with gold, probably fucking go all the way back up. This cash rate, now I want to get into this, but I'm going to save that for my Chino FX Fargo family group, because I had traded this successfully earlier this year, but then I had fucked up on it. So I need to look a little bit more at some fundamentals. But want to go into something real quick, right? So looking at EJ, all right, this is how I do pretty much my chart work. Now you can do this a few different ways. A lot of people, believe it or not, you see how easy that is? A lot of people draw their lines draw the trend lines from a line chart. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, but I want you all to do it the correct way. So you should always do 1, 2, run it through. All right. So, you know, 1, 2 up there, then run it through. You should also make sure that you have your ascending trend line from the bottom. All right. Now, even though this is from January 2012, all of that shit is important. I actually wouldn't do it there. That's too much. I'd do it from this right here. But I don't know. That probably doesn't make sense. Now, what we're going to do, turn these back to a candle. We're going to go back to a weekly. All right. And now we're going to start looking at some stuff. All right. Now, what you can do, you can fine tune stuff. All right. So shit that really matters is, you know, I look at stuff that probably like 4 or 5 years back. So like from 2015, 14 and beyond. So right now we can see that just from the overall perspective, Euro has been dying for a very long time. Okay. Euro's been dying since 2008. So the overall trend is fucking bearish. Now looking where we're at right here. All right, this is what I do. I draw my trend lines and I try to see where we're at in the trend. All right, so let's look at this, right? So right now you can do one of two things. All right, if we look to the left, we can see that we are at a previous, what do you call it? This is a supply zone, right? I'll show you what I mean by this, right? So looking to the left, we can see that when price got over here, this was Rocco. Give me that back, please. we can see that when price had got over here, we had this nice decline, right? Obviously, we drew this trend line at the bottom. We knew why price kind of rejected off of this trend line, because this is a monthly trend line. All right, this is why you should always draw your trend line from the higher time frames. If you wanted to add some more additive stuff, right? So as you can see right here, look what we did, right? We drew that nice little demand zone. Do we know what's going to happen? Absolutely not. But I'm looking to see if price is going to project one more time off of this, or if price is going to break through this and continue up. If price rejects down to the downside, we can see price probably dropping down to, you know, one of these levels over here. Once again, how I establish my take profit points, they're pretty much based off of the wicks. So like take profit 1 would be like right here, take profit 2, you know, take profit 3 would be based off of this one right here, and then take profit 4 would be like all the way down here. Now that would be a little bit ambitious, but at the end of the day, it may or may not work. Now, like I said, I'm an intraday trader, sniper, intraday sniper, swing trader. Sometimes I hold my positions for a long time. Sometimes I'm in and out of the market. It depends how I feel on the day. It depends on my mood, and it depends on other factors. Something that I gave for free a few days ago, actually a couple weeks ago, that people may not have noticed, but this was posted October 17th, and this was actually a webinar. Now, I want everyone to look at this. It says looking for sales. It's a counter trend trade. So we obviously knew that the overall trade was bullish, right? Now look at this. This is why you do stuff in advance, all right? So look how many confluences we have. And once again, we were looking for sales since October 17th, all right? Now, sell limit, I don't care if it was all fucked up or whatever, we had the right idea. So look at the confluences. Supply zone holds its resistance on the higher time frame. We can see that this zone is August. We got 10 minutes left, so 10 more minutes for you guys. We can see that this zone is August resistance. It looks like it's the first or second bounce off of this level, right? That's one. 1 hour time frame looks like double top is forming, all right? So that's an M formation. 3, we're waiting for a candle closure below 108.586 in September resistance level. So we waited for that, right? And then I told you that we're looking at a potential head and shoulders, right? Now, when I press this play button, I want you guys to see something, all right? Now, although I was wrong on one of them, all right, we had the overall move right. And this is why you look from a higher time frame. All right, when you're able to identify from a higher time frame, you're able to take however many trades you want. You know, you can be a scalper, intraday trader, swing trader. My analysis is suitable for those 3 type of people. If you're a scalper, intraday trader, or a swing trader, okay? Now, we had got stopped out on the sell position because, you know, price did what it did. It wicked all the way up to the top of our zone, of our daily resistance level, but our daily resistance level was already marked. So did we necessarily lose out on the trade? I consider this a small loss, not a real loss, because we identified the overall trend, right? From the higher time frame, we also identified, you see how this blue bubble matches perfect with this? We anticipated this second bounce off of our trend line for the potential lower high to be created, right? So this is all stuff that it becomes advanced, but it's not that it's advanced. When you really dedicate your time to looking at this, you will understand and start noticing stuff, right? So going back to our EG trade, EJ, I apologize, EJ, right? One thing that we want to, you know, be cautious of, we want to be cautious of this level, all right? We want to have a few things, right? So what I'd like to do on a 4-hour time frame, this is when a trend line is important. Once again, I'm self-taught, so like there may be other things that you have learned from other people, but you know, at the end of the day, you are here. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to draw a trend line, and just trying to find, I'm not trying to force one. I'm just looking for a counter trend line move, right? So I hate how it's like this. Let's see what someone said. 1 second. Good. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I really love what I do. I really do. Right. So this is one thing this is what I'm actually concerned with. All right. I'm concerned with the fact that we had this nice, you see this 4-hour closure, this 4-hour candle closure was about a 75 pip. Now this is what we call a break and close beyond. One second. I want my girl to come up here. Mama, close this one with me if you want. I'm gonna be done in like 5-10 minutes. All right. So type of trades that, you know, I like looking for, right? So remember I told you guys what I didn't identify on GA, okay? I'm going to try my best to identify on EJ. I keep saying EG and fucking I told you guys I'm dyslexic, right? So look at this, all right? So in terms of 121, call it, here, let's do this, okay? We'll do it like right here, 121, 250, all right? So this 124, 250 is important because this is the top of our supply zone, okay? Now, we had 1 rejection, we had 2 rejections, we had 3 rejections. Over here, what we had, I'm going to consider this a fake out because price and the market wanted people to consider this 4-hour candle close above that, above this 121 area. They wanted to, I don't know the right words, but if I bust down to a 1-hour time frame, when you've been trading long enough, you know that like this is a stop hunt. Sorry, you know that that's a stop hunt, and a stop hunt is literally just institutions trying to get, you know, good. In order to have stop hunts are created because they either need buyers or sellers in the market. All right, the market cannot just move up and down. It can't just fucking go in a straight line it can't, yeah, it just has to have some movement to it, right? So pretty much, you know, these people had wiped out all of the buyers within this 1-hour candle. So you see how this 1-hour candle closed through this entire zone? That's a 450 pip closure below the zone. You had the retest, right? Then you had a bounce off of this level. Now we're looking to see why price bounced off of this level down here. All right, now let's try to understand why price bust down off of this level. Let's go to a daily time frame, right? So on a daily time frame, we can see that price is rejecting off of this daily support. So this is what we'll do. Daily support. Daily support. All right, and now you have this up here. You have weekly resistance. Once again, I'm adding this so you all can see, right? So right now we have price kind of doing this little thing, right? So like over here, we had a clear move to the downside. Right now we had a rejection. We had a bounce off of this daily level. We had a rejection at the top side. Then we had another bounce off of this daily level. So in order for someone like myself to take the trade and what I would be looking for, I'd be looking to see how price, and look at this. I'd wait to see if price rejects off this level again. Now I can tell you 1000%, and I'll save this part at this point. EJ is gonna fucking drop when price comes down. I don't know if it's gonna gap to the upside or the downside, but price is going to drop just based off of this inverted hammer off of the 1-hour time frame. I want to see what else I can see on a 2-hour time frame. You can see that you kind of have like this little bullish spinning top or whatever like that, but just depending on where it is on the trend, like you rejection to the upside, rejection to the downside. Looking at the overall picture though, if I was to draw a trend line, you know, 1, 2, run it through. Let me just show you real quick, since we are rejecting at the top. So this is what you do want to do. You do, or I myself would like to do something like this. Once again, just have something for guidelines or whatever. Right, so I will do my trend line like this, right? I'll run my trend line all the way down to November, right? Because what you want to do, it's important when you're trading to have rules, okay? So there's no trade if price breaks to the upside on this. If price breaks to the upside on this, there's no trade, all right? If price respects this descending trend line and also respects our supply zone as resistance, then yes, there'll be a trade. Now, price could potentially go a little bit higher. Price could come all the way back up to this zone, right? It doesn't matter. We're not looking for a trade there. We could also set a a sell limit all the way up here, but once again, that's you being advantageous. I like following price action, and most of the time I prefer to manually enter my trade. All right. So just to give you guys an idea, and I will send this and I'll put this on for free. You know, we'll look for something like this. You can look for something like that. That's 88 pips. You know, right it to the daily level, or if you bust down to, you know, not only this daily level, but, you know, once again, you can look at it from October 16th, 120. So if you extend it right there, where you at, that's 118 pips, 176 pips, you know, 219, right? So when I used to care about catching this entire move or whatever. Now I actually don't. You know, it is what it is to me. I could care less. What you could have, though, you could probably have a, let me see 1 second. So what you got to do is you got to go to the monthly real quick to understand something. Yeah, right. So price actually needs to break down this level. Okay, so we see this right here. This is actually going to be our support level. That's daily support. This is monthly support. This is September monthly support. All right. So pretty much if price does fall down, we have to be cautious of this daily support level. All right. So I'll show you on a 4-hour time frame. If price does happen to fall down, we need to be cautious of our daily support level and make sure that we have a break and close above that. And then we also need to make sure that, you know, be cautious and wary of our September monthly support level, because it's shown on the monthly time frame. All right. On the monthly time frame, price wicked all the way up here, but once again, you see support, support, support. This did act as resistance, so you can call this, you know, all these rejections, 1, 2, 3, 4, that acted as rejection. So if price breaks this daily support level and breaks monthly